Imagine paying hundreds of dollars every year to live in a peaceful neighborhood, only to have one smug, power-drunk man control your life. He fined me $500 for the color of my fence, then smirked and said, "Rules are rules." That was the moment I decided I would destroy him, not with shouting, but with patience, paperwork, and precision. And when I was done, he lost everything. If you've ever been bullied by someone who thought they could get away with it, this story is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and get ready, because this is one of the most satisfying revenge stories you'll ever hear. Peace turns to misery when I first moved into my quiet suburban neighborhood. I thought I'd found my sanctuary. Tree-lined streets, kids riding bikes, neighbors waving politely. It was the American dream. But lurking beneath the surface was Todd, the self-appointed king of the HOA. You know the type, late 40s, polo shirt tucked into khaki shorts, strutting around like he personally invented suburbia. Todd wasn't just the HOA president. He was a dictator with a clipboard. Within the first week, I got my first taste of Todd's leadership. A neatly typed letter was taped to my door. Your trash can was visible at 9:02 a.m. on a Tuesday. You are being fined $200. Consider this a warning. 2 minutes late. 2. And yet, Todd's own front yard looked like a discount lumber yard. Half-built pergola, unpermitted sheds, and a fence that towered higher than HOA limits allowed. I tried to be reasonable. When the approved stain for my fence was backordered, I used the closest match I could find. Todd hit me with a $500 fine. I knocked on his door, receipts in hand, hoping for a civil conversation. Todd opened the door, looked at me like I was wasting his time, and said with a smug little grin, "Rules are rules. Don't like it? Move." That smirk? Oh, that smirk lit a fire in me. That was the moment I knew. I wasn't going to just fight Todd. I was going to end Todd's reign point, becoming the inside man's first rule of revenge. Patience. I volunteered for the HOA board. I acted like the eager new guy who just wanted to get involved. Todd welcomed me, thinking he had another pawn to control. For 2 long years, I sat through every single meeting. I watched Todd manipulate votes, bury people in pointless paperwork, and conveniently lose forms from anyone who dared to oppose him. I kept my head down, took meticulous notes, smiled, nodded, played dumb. Todd thought I was harmless. He didn't know I was building a case. Following the money, something about our HOA fees never sat right with me. They were way higher than other neighborhoods nearby. Yet the community pool was constantly closed, the landscaping looked neglected, and common areas were crumbling. I asked Todd to see the annual budget. Totally normal, totally legal. He chuckled and said, "Don't worry about it. I've got everything under control." Yeah, that was exactly what worried me. So I made a formal request for the financial records, which he was required by law to provide. Weeks passed. No response. That's when I started knocking on doors, talking to neighbors. Turns out, Todd had ignored dozens of similar requests over the years. One neighbor swore Todd used HOA funds to build a new patio at his house. Another said they'd seen Todd's kids swimming in the pool during its maintenance closure. The pieces were coming together. Todd wasn't just a tyrant. He was a thief. Building the case, when Todd finally caved and handed over the records, it was a gold mine. Invoices missing, checks made out to fake companies, a $15,000 landscaping fee paid to a business that didn't even exist, thousands labeled as administrative costs, with no explanation. I went full detective mode. I cross-referenced bank statements, contractor filings, and public records until I had the smoking gun. Todd had been funneling HOA money into his personal account. Even worse, he was colluding with a shady contractor buddy, inflating maintenance fees, and splitting the profits. I compiled everything, spreadsheets, photos, notarized witness statements, into a massive report. This wasn't just gossip. This was a legal sledgehammer. The annual HOA meeting was usually a ghost town, maybe 10 bored homeowners. This year, I made sure it was standing room only. I spent weeks canvassing the neighborhood, sharing just enough information to get people curious and angry. The night of the meeting, Todd started with his usual speech about how much he'd sacrificed for the community. I stood up, heart pounding but voice steady. "Todd, could you explain why the HOA paid $15,000 to a landscaping company that doesn't exist?" The room went dead silent. Todd laughed nervously. "I don't think this is the time or place." I smiled. Actually, Todd, it's the perfect time. I passed out copies of my report. Pages flipped. Murmurs turned to shouts. Todd's face turned crimson. When I called for a vote to remove him, the crowd erupted in applause. By the end of the night, Todd was officially out point sick. The final blow: we hired an independent auditor who confirmed everything I'd uncovered. Over $50,000 embezzled, tens of thousands more mismanaged, multiple counts of fraud that we reported Todd to the police and sued him in civil court. He was forced to sell his house to pay restitution. His contractor buddy, banned from doing business in the county. Todd's name became a neighborhood punchline points. The aftermath and emotional payoff today, the HOA is thriving. We implemented term limits, transparency rules, and a public portal for all budgets and meeting notes. The pool is open, the landscaping is beautiful, and the HOA fees are lower than ever. Every time I pass Todd's old house, now owned by a sweet family who actually plants flowers instead of building illegal sheds, I smile. Todd tried to join another HOA board in the next town over. They Googled his name and laughed him out of the room. Justice wasn't just served, it was delivered on a silver platter. I will never forget the look on Todd's face when he realized the room had turned on him. He went from smug to speechless in 30 seconds flat. And for the first time in years, the entire neighborhood stood up to him. That night, we didn't just fire Todd, we reclaimed our community. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't loud or messy. It's quiet. It's patient. It's watching someone dig their own grave while you calmly hand them the shovel. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the pettiest or most outrageous HOA story you've ever heard? And don't forget to subscribe, because we have more stories of sweet, sweet justice coming your way.